Majority Caucus Chair in the Senate, Mark Harris. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Logan.
As we're sitting here talking, we're partway through the second week of the session. And I wanted to ask you about something that the committees undertake at the beginning of session, which is reviewing the administrative rules. It's kind of a complicated, arcane process, so without getting into too much detail for me, can you briefly for our viewers explain what are the administrative rules and why do lawmakers review them each year?
You bet. We review the administrative rules as part of our constitutional duty in the state of Idaho, the legislature holds. We're one of the few states that actually have this duty as a legislature, and it basically what it is after we pass legislation the prior year, the agencies take the legislation that we pass and promulgate the rules, write the rules to enact that legislation, and then bring it back to the legislature for us to review, to make sure that it holds in the rules are held with intent of the legislation and that we passed. We have the authority to reject the rule or part of the rule. We don't have the authority to change the rule, but it's a good thing that Idaho has been able to do, and it basically it gives the people of the state of Idaho another avenue if something's wrong in their occupation, they can, and the rule is too restrictive or the rule's not doing what it's needed to do, they can come back to the legislature, talk to us, and we can look at the rule and change it or reject it, or if needs be, we can write a new bill to fix the problem. So it's just another avenue that the citizens of Idaho have to help govern.
So the legislature will set a broad or more general policy in laws or statute, and then an agency like the Department of Agriculture or Department of Environmental Quality will pick out the specifics. And so you guys are just making sure they're doing what you wanted them?
Yep. If we make sure that those rules are in they conform with the legislation that we passed the previous year. So.
And early this session, we heard something from House Speaker Mike Moyle, who has said that something that's really big on his priority list this year is working out the way that the Senate and House agree to those rules. Currently, the rules are set into place, and like you referenced, lawmakers can reject them. But if the House and Senate don't agree to reject them, the rules go into place anyway.
Right.
Speaker Moyle has told us in the press corps that there are some conversations, some negotiations going on between House and Senate. You're in Senate leadership. Have you been privy to those conversations?
I have a few of them, and we've been negotiating this for a couple of years now, or three or 4 years now, I guess. Like you said, currently, if one side, if the Senate passes the rule and the House rejects it, then still the rule will take place. The Speaker wants it so both houses have to approve the rule before it can be enacted. There's arguments on both sides, and there's support in our caucus for what the Speaker wants, and there's some that don't think that's the way we should go, that we should stay with the way we've been doing it before. So it's something that we're working through, and I feel pretty confident we'll get it figured out here shortly.
It's been, like you referenced, it's been a couple years of negotiating back and forth. There have even been a couple of sessions recently where the legislature hasn't taken action on the rules, so they all just go into effect by default. Are you optimistic?
Temporary rules.
As temporary rules,
Yeah.
right. Are you optimistic that we'll actually reach some sort of compromise this year?
I am. I think this is a good year if we're going to compromise and come to an agreement. I think this may be the year to do it. Almost half the legislature are new, and there's a lot of new ideas, a lot of new opinions, and I don't see any way or any reason why we couldn't come to an agreement this year. It may not happen, but it could. So I'm hopeful it can.
And like you mentioned, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new people here in the legislature this year. Over in the Senate specifically, every single committee, either the vice chair or the chairperson, is a freshman, a first-term senator. What sort of challenges come along with such a big group of new people coming into the body?
One of the biggest challenges is getting people teaching our senators what the process is in the committees. as you said, a lot of our chairmen, all but two, are new chairmen, and all the vice chairmen are actually new senators, freshman senators, except for one. So it's a challenge to get their feet under them and get going on the process of how the committees are run, the motions that can be made, and just the basic rules of how the legislature works.
And political observers like me have taken note that a lot of the newer folks coming into the Senate are perhaps a little more conservative than the group of senators in the past, and a lot of the new folks aren't shy about making their opinions heard. Mm-hmm. Do you think that we're going to see a shift in the tone of the Senate this year compared to previous sessions?
I think so. There'll be a shift in the tone. It's as you said, it's a different group that have come in. Almost half of my caucus is new, and they have their ideas. They bring the new ideas, fresh ideas. Some ideas have been tried before, and we have to kind of coach them through that. But it's exciting. It's good. It's a good thing to bring in fresh set of eyes on these problems that Idaho has and the challenges we face. And I'm optimistic that we can have a good session.
And here, you're not just the majority caucus chairman, you're also an individual senator from District 35. In your individual capacity, what sort of issues are you looking forward to this year representing your district?
My district is very diverse. I've got part of Idaho Falls, Yukon, so it's a part of an urban area, but most of my district is very rural. I live in a rural area, and so my focus is on natural resource issues, mining, farming, logging, and water, and also issues that deal with the national lab. And so I've got a whole gamut of interests and individuals in my district.
Any specific bills we should be looking out for you?
Last year I worked on a rewrite of the Idaho fence statutes, the barbed wire statutes. I'm working on that again with the sheriffs, prosecutors, and several other groups, ag groups. There's a few health and welfare issues that I'll be working on, as well as a bill with the INL dealing with clean energy. And so there's a few things I'll be working on, rivers, Bear Lake, stuff like that.
All right. Senator Mark Harris, Senator Mark Harris, Majority Caucus Chairman, thanks so much for your time today.
You bet, thank you.